Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh. Okay, we made it. Amazing, Robert. We made it.
I feel like such a moron. Are you there? Did I lose you? Hello? Diana? Diana? Hello? Diana? What is this? Hello? Can anybody hear me? Hello? Diana? You can hear me, but I can't hear anybody else. No, no puedo entender oír nadie. No oigo nada. ¿Dónde has ido, Diana?
Okay. I'm back.
How did I lose you? What's going on?
I don't know. Life, you can control everything, Robert, but we're learning.
Oh, God. What a nightmare. All right.
Yeah.
Well, here I am. Don't go anywhere.
Is that we are here now. So
Okay.
it's done.
All right.
How are you, Robert? Thank you so much.
I'm fine. I'm sorry about this. It's just,
No,
I'm kind of a slightly new to Instagram, so you have to excuse me.
we
I'm
don't need
also, I'm
excuse.
also, I'm also over 50 years old, which means that I'm a bit of a dinosaur and I don't know how to operate these things so
No,
well.
this means that we need to do another live.
Okay, that's right. This is my second one, but
That
anyway.
means speed.
Oh,
As
another one with you. Well, probably because we're so
it
late, but yeah.
happens for a reason.
Okay, that's true. Well,
So
very
I'm
nice to meet you.
nice to meet you, Robert. What I'm going to do, I'm going to try to translate because my community is Latin. Even though we are going live on your account, I think there is a lot of people of Latin America that
Bueno,
only speak Spanish.
bueno, yo hablo español, pero me cuesta mucho
Oh,
hablar, sobre todo con mis ideas en
I
español, pero yo
know.
puedo entender bastante bien.
Wow. ¿Cómo aprendiste español?
Bueno, viví en España, pero ya hace más de 30 años. Yo era profesor de inglés en Barcelona y
Oh,
aprendí español allá, pero vivo en Los Ángeles y hay tanta gente aquí que habla español,
love
entonces
it.
por
So I
eso.
need to translate much.
Well, no, sería mejor. Puedes hacer preguntas en español y yo podría contestar en inglés, pero como quieras.
Okay.
Estoy en tu casa.
Okay. Gracias. Okay. First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity, for your time. I know you're super busy.
Yeah.
Uh, let's talk a little bit of you. Let everybody, maybe somebody that doesn't know you, who is Robert Greene?
Who's Robert Greene? I don't
Yeah.
even know. I don't even know. You know, I'm a bit of a mystery to myself. Basically, I'm somebody who wanted to be a writer my whole life. And I did a TED talk in which I kind of explained the long journey that I had to get to be able to write books. But my problem was I could never figure out what I wanted to write. I tried Hollywood and screenwriting. I tried writing novels. I was a journalist. And then I met somebody who was a book producer. This was in Venice, Italy, back in 1995, so many years ago. He asked me for ideas for a book, and I just improvised. It turned out to be the 48 Laws of Power. So since then, I've been writing these books. And to answer your questions, who am I? I'm a very, very lucky person. Because if I hadn't met that man, and if it hadn't been, the timing hadn't been right, I wouldn't be here right now talking to Diana.
It's crazy, yeah. Ok, entonces Robert, les pregunté quién es Robert. Es una pregunta un poco complicada porque poner a una persona en palabras es complejo, pero
Sí.
Robert es un escritor, él sabía que quería escribir desde temprana edad, no sabía qué pasaba, cómo hacerlo, cómo ponerlo en la realidad, pero las cosas de la vida lo llevaron una vez trabajando en Italia. Él conoció a una persona que le preguntó ideas acerca de un libro, cliquearon y la vida just happened. Y de ahí han salido 6 bestsellers, libros que son unas guías, son el código de este mundo, porque todos los libros que él ha escrito son de gran ayuda para vivir en este mundo terrenal, una gran ayuda para tú ser más feliz, para entender más cómo trabaja la mente y para relacionarte mejor. Entonces, no, es muy difícil de hablar de todos los libros de Robert, pero vamos a tratar de tocar algunos tips que nos pueda dar de sus libros, que nos puedan ayudar, herramientas. Eso es lo que me encanta a mí de Robert. Robert, you give like tools that it's hard for many people to understand, especially like when the first time I saw your books, I noticed that it was like holy grail for me, because there are things that you don't realize because you are genuine. You are going to the world, and the world is not like in your house or at home, and it's many things that you don't even know, and you are giving like the tips, like great help for people that is more innocent and genuine, because not everybody is like this. So right. Those are the tools. Gracias por las
herramientas. Well, de nada. Yes, thank you very much.
No, thank you.
You're from Colombia?
I'm Colombian.
Okay.
I moved to LA a year ago.
You moved where?
I moved from Miami to LA. I'm in LA.
Oh, you're in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I moved a year ago here.
Oh, wow. Wow, we're neighbors. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So
what neighborhood?
I'm by Beachwood, Hollywood.
Beachwood? I'm very near you.
Oh, really? Where do you live?
I live in Los Feliz.
Oh, wow.
Right next to Griffith Park. We're about 10 minutes away.
I'm familiar with Los Tilos. I'm familiar. I know where you live.
Beachwood is beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Well, anyway.
En la naturaleza.
Yeah. Yo también.
Yeah, right. Okay. Question for you, Robert.
Sí.
What is success? ¿Qué es el éxito para Robert?
For me personally or for other people?
For you.
Well, success is, what I've been able to do is basically, I'm a very practical person. I'm a realist. So I don't like writing books just to make money or just to to entertain people. I want to change how people look at the world. I want to change their lives. I want to change how they see things. So I write books that I try to immerse you in my world and how I think, so that you can start to see the world the way I look at the world. And so success for me is when people write to me and say, Robert, you've changed my life. I no longer think this way. I think and I relate to people differently, and you've helped me so much. So success for me is hearing that I've had a practical effect on the lives of other people.
Okay. So that we can say that
you
are living your purpose.
Sí, very much so.
Entonces le pregunto a Robert que qué es el éxito para él y él me
Sí.
dice que es, bueno, primero es personal, que es para ti el éxito, puede ser que para la otra persona no sea el éxito, y para él dice, escribo libros que ayudo, que son prácticos, que le doy ayuda a la gente a cómo mirar la vida de una manera más fácil y más práctica, que le puedan ayudar a llegar a su propósito. Y para mí, ya cuando alguien me dice que yo les estoy ayudando a vivir su vida mejor, ya eso para mí es el éxito. Entonces es un servicio, es service. It's the service that you're giving to us. Thank you so much.
Oh, no, 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 you're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Let's talk about these global challenges that we're living right now in this Corona time.
Yes.
That you talk a lot about emotions like fear,
Mm-hmm.
fear, like anxiety, depression, like
Yeah.
all of emotions that, because we are living through this crisis, global time, I think they're maximizing. Like everything feels stronger and
Right.
it's higher. So let's talk about those feelings. How can you can tell us how to control, or how not to even control, so to use or to don't let those feelings of fear and anxiety to control us?
Well, this is a very, very important time for everybody in the world because most of us are home and we have more time than we normally have. Um, and so this is a time where you can start looking at yourself and understanding yourself on a higher level. Because normally we're so distracted and we're so busy that we think about other people, we think about our jobs, our careers, but we're not really thinking about ourselves and who we are and what we need to change. And so the main thing, the number one skill that you want in life is the ability to understand your own emotions, to understand who you are. So normally we go through life, if we feel anger or we feel fear, we simply react according to those emotions. You know, we're angry at someone and we say something, or we're afraid and we step back and we don't go do something. And I'm telling you, what you need to do in life is you need to, when you feel any emotion, fear, anger, boredom, depression, disappointment, instead of just reacting, step back and try to ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What actually am I afraid of? Who actually am I really angry at? Why am I bored? Why am I disappointed? And in analyzing the emotions, you get a little bit of distance from yourself. And if this becomes a practice for you every day of your life, then instead of reacting constantly to what people do, you're able to take a step back and say, maybe I don't need to be angry. Maybe I don't need to react. Maybe I don't need to be so afraid of this. So we're all afraid of catching the virus, and we're all afraid of losing our jobs. Those are two very, very real things, and it's okay to feel fear. But then we're afraid of so many other things now that we don't need to be afraid of. We watch too much news, and they fill us with a general anxiety and a dread. You want to be able to be afraid of things that are immediate and that you can control. So it's not that you want to repress your emotions. Emotions are a beautiful thing. Feeling love for someone is a great thing. It's just that you want to be able to understand your emotions, understand where they come from, and have a little bit of distance from yourself. That is probably the most important skill you can develop in your life.
Okay.
Paso a traducirlo, es mucho, lo siento.
Okay. Ok, le pregunté a Robert, para los que hablamos acá solo español, le pregunté a Robert que en esta época que estamos en el coronavirus, el virus, todos tenemos miedo, la incertidumbre, el trabajo, en quedarse enfermo, perder un familiar o alguien querido, que cómo manejar esas emociones de miedo, de incertidumbre y de ansiedad y hasta de depresión, de lo que no sabemos qué va a pasar con nosotros y con otras personas queridas. Entonces él dice que la herramienta número uno, más importante para desarrollar una persona, es preguntar, observar. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué estoy sintiendo esta emoción? ¿Por qué estoy sintiendo miedo? Entonces, como tú salirte y ser un poco más el testigo de tus emociones. Entonces, no te identificas con tus emociones, sino las observas. Te estás diciendo, ok, de pronto no tengo que sentir ese miedo, tal vez este miedo no es real, tal vez este miedo me lo está generando la media, las noticias, toda la información que estoy saturada y también no existe, no tengo que estar con este miedo, que el miedo te hace estar estresado y el estrés nos enferma. Entonces, esa es una dice Robert, y que es completamente cierto, que es una skill, es una habilidad que deberíamos todos desarrollar, y es el de observar antes de reaccionar. Entonces, ¡boom! Cuando sientes algo, sientes rabia, sientes miedo, sientes depresión, ¡boom! Párate y observa. Distánciate y observa la emoción. ¿De verdad es real o de pronto no es real? Entonces, eso es un great tip. Thank you. And it's so simple, but we just tend to forget because we have too much going on, too much information coming in. And it's what you said, especially negative things, you know? So it's sad. What about depression?
Depression?
How do you handle depression?
Well, sometimes, you know, depression is chemical. We can't really control it, or it could even be genetic. You know I sometimes get depressed, but something you have to understand, particularly, you know, when we're all quarantined, is that the mind and the body are actually one. There's no difference between the mind and the body. They're the same thing. They go together. There's no difference. So if your body is feeling sluggish and you have no energy physically, your mind will be affected. And so oftentimes feelings of depression come from something physical, right? So you know very well in what you do that being able to move, being active, exercising, getting out and taking walks, being out in the fresh air, the physical element plays an enormous role in how we feel mentally. And sometimes when we feel depressed, we're not aware of that physical element. And so it's extremely important in this time that we're doing a lot of good breathing, that we're outside, that we're taking as many walks as we can, that we're staying in shape. We're not putting on those pandemic pounds that people are talking about. Because if you're physically feeling good, then the mental will often follow. That's not all the time. Sometimes you're just depressed and there's no reason for it. But I know as a writer who has to deal with a lot of stress, I exercise every single day. And if I miss one day, I feel so sad and depressed and upset. So I think it's very important now to realize the mind and the body are intimately connected.
Wow.
Okay.
Entonces le pregunté a Robert acerca de la depresión, porque es algo que más que nunca nos agobia por la social media, por la misma situación que estamos viviendo de miedo y de virus. Mucha gente muy depresiva. Yo también he estado depresiva, pero ahora lo veo mucho más. No era tan común antes. Entonces le pregunto, ¿cómo hacemos para combatir la depresión? Entonces, uno puede ser genético, entonces ya es otra parte, pero él dice que tenemos que entender que el cerebro, la mente y el cuerpo y las emociones están muy conectadas, todo está conectado. Es decir, que si el cuerpo está pesado, no te sientes bien, no lo estás moviendo, pues eso le manda de una vez señales físicamente al cerebro y eso te baja el humor, vas a estar triste. El cuerpo humano, él dijo algo importante, de que el cuerpo humano de antes, de siempre, está diseñado para moverse, como antes. En la historia de la gente, estamos hablando de historia. Eso quiere decir que cuando tú estás ocupado, tú estás haciendo cosas, tú estás productivo, tú te estás moviendo, que es nuestra naturaleza, eso le manda buenas señales al cerebro y hace que no estés depresivo. Entonces, el ejercicio, hay que hacer ejercicio, hay que mover el cuerpo. Robert no dice que no hace falta un día de entrenamiento, él hace ejercicio todos los días, se está moviendo, sí. Because es verdad. Y otra cosa, la naturaleza, la luz, el sol, la vitamina D, sí, que necesitamos, es vital. Estar afuera, el cuerpo humano no está diseñado para estar encerrado. O sea, necesitamos luz natural. Entonces, sí, cosas, ejercicio y contacto con la naturaleza, vital para combatir esa depresión que al final no hay razón para estar deprimidos. So many reasons to be happy, right?
What's that?
There are so many reasons to be happy.
Exactly.
There is a writer that I love. I don't know if you heard this sentence. He said, "You are not depressive. You are distracted."
You are distracted?
You are not depressed. You are distracted. Like you are attention. You are not depressed.
Oh, yes, that's very true. I believe that very much.
I didn't
Very
write,
much.
but you know
Yeah.
what?
What's that?
Did you understand what I mean? The sentence?
Yes, very much so. I agree. I agree completely. I agree completely. I mean, also, I know this is kind of selfish because I'm a writer, but we're confined and we can't go out and do things in the world and we feel limited and that leads to boredom and boredom is often a trigger for depression. And to me, the one thing that people need to be doing now more than anything is to be reading. If you don't read books, if you don't read at least 10 books a year, something is very wrong with you.
Oh,
You
wow.
you need to be reading more because reading opens your mind up. It gets you outside of yourself. You enter the world of other people. You travel to other countries if you're reading novels. I read a lot of history,
Wow.
particularly research from my new book, and I'm traveling all around the world to all different cultures, periods of time, interacting with some of the greatest thinkers in the world because I'm reading these books. And so, you need to develop that practice instead of immediately reaching for a video game or something to distract you as you're talking about. Do something that's going to enrich you, that's going to be a skill you're going to have your whole life, which is reading. And reading should be another one of those addictions like exercise. Exercise and reading are the best antidotes for depression.
Ok, esto es un
And
súper y que está muy descuidado, disculpa. El de leer. Estamos perdiendo la lectura por tanta distracción de la social media, especialmente ahora. Y ahora tenemos el tiempo porque estamos en la casa. Él dice, no estoy hablando porque yo sea un escritor, pero la lectura es súper importante porque no solo te hace pensar, te despierta acá, te saca de la realidad virtual de tu celular, pero también te transporta a lugares, a historia, te está manteniendo, renovándote, te está educando, te está nutriendo, es like nourishing. Te está nutriendo no solo el estómago como la comida, sino también la mente y el espíritu, porque te transporta. Entonces él dice que es algo que es súper, súper importante, que debería una persona mínimo leer 10 libros al año. O sea, yo estoy mal. I'm so bad because I only have read already like 2 books this year. That's it. But
we have
give us tools. How do we adopt the habit of reading when you are so always on the go, running here, running there, trying to make it?
Okay. All right. Well, very simple. It's very easy. They now have something called audiobooks. You might have heard of that. And a place called Audible.
But it's not the
And
same. Do you think it's the same?
well, it's a lot better than not reading at all. I prefer to read a book because I like to take notes and I'm very careful with it. But listening to books, I know a lot of people who are artists who paint or who sculpt, and they spend the whole day there, and they listen to books while they're doing their work. So when you're doing things that are maybe kind of boring or banal, like washing the dishes or gardening or even taking a walk or driving or whatever, listen to a book, do an audio book.
Yeah.
They're it's almost the same as reading.
Especially in LA that you are in traffic a lot,
Yeah.
audiobooks, podcast, because when you're cleaning, I hate to clean, so audiobooks, audiobooks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Entonces, hay que utilizar, familia, hay que utilizar, si no hay tiempo, porque yo le pregunto, ¿cómo hacemos para adoptar el hábito de la lectura? Si no hay tiempo, audiobooks. Los libros en Amazon, se compran los libros y aunque sea escucharlos mientras manejas, mientras estás con los niños, mientras sacas al perro a escuchar audio. El consejo. I saw a question in the text somebody sent us. I don't know how to say it in English. I'm going to try. Somebody asked, por favor, ¿puedes explicarnos, Robert, si la frase, this sentence, el fin justifica los medios? What do you think?
Entiendo.
How do you say that?
The ends justify the means.
Okay.
En inglés es casi lo mismo en español.
Okay, yeah.
El fin justifica los medios. Okay, well, people are asking me that because of the 48 laws of power and my interest in Machiavelli, who's often associated with that expression. And basically, I don't necessarily advocate that in daily life. When I wrote the 48 Laws of Power, I was trying to show people out there who are maybe a little more innocent and naive, like I was when I entered the work world, that these are the power games that people are playing. These are the power games that your boss, the executives, the CEOs, those in, that are above you, these are the power games that they're playing, and you need to know about them. You need to be armed with knowledge. Now, sometimes the end justifies the means in certain circumstances. And I always point to in World War II, and he was an extremely difficult, crafty, evil enemy. And so leaders like Winston Churchill and Franklin Delano Roosevelt, they understood that they had to deceive him. They had to play a little bit dirty in fighting someone like that. So sometimes when you have an enemy who's dirty, who fights dirty, you need to fight back in the same way, and don't be so naive and don't be so soft. But in general, as a leader, I think it's very important that you be fair to people, that you have a reputation as someone who's good and who's decent and treats people well. That's an ideal. But as Machiavelli writes in his book, the ideal is not often what humans are about. We have our ideals, but the reality is that people are power hungry and they can be very manipulative. So I'm all about understanding this aspect of human nature.
Wow.
¿Entendido?
Entendido. Capiche.
Sí. Ok. Bueno.
Entonces, alguien preguntó acá en la audiencia de ustedes que si el bien justifica los medios. Le preguntamos a Robert porque él menciona mucho a Maquiavelo en su libro de las 48 leyes del poder. Entonces él dice que ¿por qué preguntaron eso? Porque esa frase está en el libro de Robert del poder, las leyes del poder, pero primero que todo no se puede generalizar. Él lo menciona en su libro porque te está dando las herramientas que allá afuera en el mundo está con hambre de poder. La mayoría de veces pasa eso, ¿cierto? Que la gente hará lo que sea para conseguir lo que quiere. Pero así te hace a ti consciente a ti. Pero un buen líder tiene que tener siempre consciente de que pues tienes que siempre tratar de hacer lo mejor para la gente que te está siguiendo y para tu comunidad. Dos, puede justificar los medios también por el ejemplo que da Robert de la historia, cuando estaba en la Segunda Guerra Mundial, América estaba peleando a Hitler, fue a ayudar a Europa, entonces el bien justifica los medios, Churchill, América, todo el mundo, se volvió una pelea horrible, pero es un momento en que en ese momento esa frase se hace legítima. Entonces es muy relativo, depende de la circunstancia, pero él menciona eso en su libro para darnos ese tip, para mostrarnos todas las cosas y las cualidades del código del poder que no sabemos nosotros conscientemente. I know you have to go. How long we have?
Well, what time is it?
It's 3:26.
Oh, I can go till 3:45.
Let's do that. Thank you.
Okay.
I have few concepts, words that you mentioned in your book, and I would like to hear more about that. He tenido unos conceptos, unas palabras, temas que Robert nombra en su libro y me gustaría entenderlos un poquito más. The one is narcissism, el narcisismo.
Yeah.
Tell us
what about it?
Especially for now, because we are on Instagram, social media, looking bodies. You want to look like this. You have to feel like that. They need to admire me for this. What kind of narcissism? Until what time? Until what point is positive or can be positive? You can use it in a positive way, and when it's hurting you instead of helping you.
Well, there's two aspects. I mean, there's self-love, loving yourself and appreciating yourself and feeling that you're somebody who's worthy of respect and you're somebody that deserves good things in life and that you have a talent and that you're unique and special. That's extremely important to have. But narcissism is generally a negative quality. Now, I make the point in my last book, The Laws of Human Nature, that all of us are born narcissists. And it's not right for us to say, oh, he or she is a narcissist, and to exclude ourselves. I always tell people, the first sign that somebody is a narcissist is when they say, oh, I'm not a narcissist, it's somebody else. That's a sure...
no?
Hmm?
At some point, we all narcissists.
Yes, we are, and I explained why that is in the book. We all want attention. We all want recognition from other people, and we tend, as we get older, to be more and more self-absorbed, particularly in this world of social media. Sorry, my phone,
You're
it'll
good.
stop. Okay. So what happens is we become more and more self-absorbed, and you'll notice people in restaurants, etc., like couples, they're not really paying attention to each other. They're kind of looking in their phone. They're looking out there. They're not listening deeply to the other person. And so your problem is we're a social animal, and our success and our power in life depends on how well we can understand people, how well we can communicate with them, how well we can understand their needs, their interests, so that we can begin to influence or seduce them if that's what we want. And so self-absorption, which is what I basically a form of narcissism, can be very, very dangerous. And as you get older and as you become more interested in yourself and you're more interested in your Instagram account and how people are looking at you, you're paying less and less attention to other people. So I try and say that some of our great leaders, some of the greatest people in business are very narcissistic and they can do quite well. Like someone like Elon Musk, who's a very charismatic person, is incredibly narcissistic. But I believe that there's a danger in that, and eventually it is limits. And the opposite of narcissism is empathy. And so you want to be able to develop the skill to listen to people on a much deeper level, to understand who they are, to get inside their world. So I want to get inside of the world of Diana right now. I want to understand what it's like to be her, somebody who's from Colombia, who lived in Florida, who now just came to Los Angeles, who's got all of this experience. It's very different from me. I want to get inside of her world so that, first of all, that gets me outside of myself, which is very nice because that's a way to fight depression. But also now, in understanding Diana's world on a deep level, I can now have some influence over her. I can now communicate to her on a higher level. I can get along better with people by entering their spirit. So that's the lesson, I think, from our narcissism. The first thing you need to do is get down on your hands and knees and say, yes, I am a narcissist. I admit it. And I'm going to try and alter that dynamic by listening deeper and trying to understand people.
Wow. Entonces, le pregunto a Robert, él habla de muchas emociones en sus libros, dándonos guía, conciencia, que es lo importante. Sin conciencia acá no nos movemos para adelante. Y entonces le pregunto, ¿es narcisismo? Y primero es la aclaración. Una cosa es ser narcisista y otra cosa es tener amor propio. Entonces es muy importante querernos, apreciarnos por lo que somos, darnos amorcito y sentirnos bien con nosotros mismos. Otra diferente es ya estar narcisista y llenarte tanto de tu atención y de ti mismo que no pones atención al otro. Y ahí viene el problema que dice Robert, ahí viene la contraindicación del narcisismo, que como estás tan llena y concentrada y absorbida en ti misma o en ti mismo, no pones atención al otro. Y somos animales sociales y si tú no pones atención al otro, pues estás viviendo en una burbuja de tu mundo y si somos animales sociales no vas a poder interactuar con la otra persona, a seducirlo o a influenciarlo porque no estás poniendo atención a lo que está pasando en la otra persona, sino solo en ti. Entonces, ese es un gran tip that we don't even think about it, but it's so important. Like, of course, if you want to create some kind of influence, you need to pay attention. ¿Quién es el otro? Escuchar al otro. ¿Qué le gusta al otro? Salirte de tu misma burbuja. Entonces, él está diciendo que puede ser una herramienta muy bien usada, especialmente ahora porque vemos siempre caras y cuerpos bonitos y todo el mundo con el cuento de la social media, incluida mí, todos estamos en esto, pero hay que tener más la clave. Lo contrario del narcisismo es la compasión. ¿Sería compasión? No.
Empatía.
Empatía. La empatía, sí. Ser empático con el otro.
Sí.
The shadow.
Mm-hmm.
What about the shadow, Robert? So,
the shadow.
Around the shadow. La sombra.
Somebody had written down before in one of the comments that Robert Greene is the supreme narcissist. And yes, I admit that I am a narcissist, and I had to realize that in writing that chapter. But I tell you, realizing that you are a narcissist is extremely important, because then
It's
it allows you
the
to be
steps.
aware and to change it. Yeah. As far as the shadow, I maintain that all of us have a dark side. So it's like there's the moon, and we see the moon shining there. There's the behind the moon, there's a dark side. All of us, when you look at people, they're always smiling, they're always saying hello, they're saying I love you, I love your ideas, I think your screenplay is great, etc. People wear a mask. They wear a mask, a social mask that makes them seem pleasant, agreeable, and very nice to be around, very sympathetic. But behind that mask are all kinds of dark thoughts, all kinds of dark emotions, like envy. Envy is a very typical human emotion, or aggression, or anger, or resentment, or disappointment, etc. But people don't say that to your face. They always say, wow, you look great today, those, whatever, etc. So you need to be aware that there's a dark side to everybody, including yourself. And I say, when you were a child, 3 or 4 or 5 years old, you hadn't yet learned to repress some of your darker emotions. If you were aggressive with your brother or sister, you hit them, or you stole something from them. You didn't care because you were a child. You expressed yourself in this complete human open way. And slowly you learned to repress those dark emotions, to be like the good kid, to be the angel, to be that someone everybody loves. But that you're missing half of your personality. You're missing those dark emotions that are inside all of you. And I'm trying to tell you, don't be afraid of your shadow. First, you need to be aware of it, like I'm aware of my narcissism. You need to be aware that you have a dark side. You need to be aware that you feel envy. You need to be aware that you have aggressive impulses, that you are ambitious, and not try and appear to be this angel. And then you need to be able to find a way to use that dark energy, because it contains a lot of power. And I tell people, if you feel angry, if there's something that's kind of eating at you, there's a bitterness inside, channel that into something productive. Channel that into a cause, into fighting for justice in the world, to fighting for something good for people. Channel your anger, or put it in your work. I tell people, if you're a writer, an artist, a filmmaker, putting your anger into your work is what gives it excitement, it's what gives it heart, it's what makes it come alive. So find a way to use your shadow in productive and healthy ways instead of repressing it. Because the people who appear to be the saints in this world, who appear to be the great angels, are actually the ones that are disguising a very, very dark side.
Wow, this is a very deep, gray topic. La sombra. Entonces, la sombra, como todo en la vida, Robert dice normal, hay blanco y negro, es el balance del mundo, todo se mueve con dos energías, yin, yang, blanco, negro, bueno y malo, y también nosotros tenemos esas energías. Entonces, a medida que vamos creciendo, la sociedad no las reprime, entonces no puede sentir rabia o no puede sentir envidia. Entonces el tip que nos da, lo que nos aconseja Robert, es que primero que todo la conozcas, obsérvala, observa ese lado oscuro que todos tenemos, porque hace parte también de nuestra naturaleza, para no empoderarlo, para que no te empodere inconscientemente. Cuando tú lo observas y lo haces consciente, ya tú lo puedes usar y canalizar de una manera positiva para un bien, por algo bueno, para algo que te haga beneficio a ti y a tu comunidad. Entonces es un tema muy importante y que nos toca a todos, la sombra. Tienen que leerse el libro. We have to read all of Robert Greene's books because there's a lot. It's like, we can be talking about your books like for 2 days here, minimum. It's crazy, it's a lot. And not but what you said, it's so practical, it's for everyone. Everybody can relate. It's human nature. I mean, somebody asked about who is your favorite writer. ¿Quién es tu escritor preferido?
Mi escritor preferido. Bueno, it's very difficult for me to say because I read hundreds, thousands of books to do my research. I'm currently researching my next book, and I typically read about 200 or 300 books for my research.
What is going to be the next? If we can give us a hint.
Well, it's about the sublime. I'm calling it the law of the sublime. And I wrote about that in chapter 18 of the Laws of Human Nature. It's a little bit of the experience of death and what it does to you, because I had a very close encounter with death myself. about a year and a half ago. And it's a book about awakening yourself to the awesome aspect of what it means to be alive. The fact that you and I, Diana, are here talking on a phone with our two heads like this, and people all around the world are writing their comments. Can you imagine 50,000 years ago, if you looked at our ancestors before the invention of language, to imagine that this is where we could be right now is a thought that's just mind blowing. It's like, it's too much. Life is like that. And I think people are not aware of the sublime and awesome aspect of the world around them. So that's more or less the subject of my next book. And coming very, very close to death, which is what happened to me. I was like, 5 minutes away from dying if I hadn't been in an ambulance.
Was when you were finishing the Laws of Human Nature, right? Before really.
Yes, 2 months after I finished it, yeah. It makes you appreciate, what it means to be alive. It makes you appreciate, the birds you hear, the things you see, the people around you. But so anyway, probably since I was a child or when I was a teenager, the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche was one of my favorite writers. And so maybe he might be the person because I've never stopped loving him. Sometimes you had somebody you liked when you were 15, and then you reread it when you're 50 and you go, what was I thinking? This is terrible. But with him, I never have that idea. Yes, some ideas of his I'm not as interested as I was when I was, but other aspects I just absolutely adore. And so it's like a lifelong love affair with his work. So that might be the person I would choose.
Yeah. Ok, le preguntamos a Robert que cuál es su escritor preferido y él dice que es muy difícil porque él hace mucho research cuando escribe un libro, mucha investigación. Entonces él lee bastante de todos los temas. Pero si tiene que escoger un autor, él escogería Friedrich Nietzsche, porque a pesar de que lo leyó desde muy pequeño, lo vuelve a leer ahorita y sigue siendo fascinante. Entonces ya saben, es el autor preferido y también nos dio otro regalo que nos dice que está trabajando en su next book, va a lanzar otro libro y es acerca de algo que va muy ahorita, una experiencia que él tuvo antes de él hacer el lanzamiento de su libro, las leyes de la naturaleza humana. Él estuvo enfrentando, vio la muerte muy cerca. Entonces, él estuvo muy cerca de morir y eso le causó, pues se imaginarán las emociones cuando te estás cerca a la muerte, de que aprecias más la vida. Entonces, el libro que viene va a ser muy personal. I'm feeling that it's going to be a really, really personal life, a book, because it's something that you yourself live. Like death is one of the biggest fears and emotions we all have. Like facing fear is going to be an amazing book. When it's going to come? When it's coming?
Probably in about 2 or 3 years.
Oh. that is how long it takes to write a book, 2-3 years?
It took 5 years to write The Laws of Human Nature.
5
I know.
años para escribir un libro. Wow.
I know. I mean,
Patient.
most people, yeah, but that's why, because I put so much work into it. When I write a book about human nature, as I said in the very beginning, the very first question, I want to change people's lives. I want to have a huge impact. I want it to be like a sock in your stomach when you read my book. And that's not easy to do, It takes a lot of work. I'm very ambitious. So that's why it is,
Yeah,
It would be a lot easier if I could write a book in a year or two, but that's not me, so.
I mean, what is your favorite book? ¿Cuál es tu libro favorito? From Nietzsche. Is your favorite author?
My favorite book of his? Well, that has changed over the years. I love his book that he wrote when he was very, very young called The Birth of Tragedy, which is his book about ancient Greece and the theater of ancient Greece. It's because that was my subject that I studied in the university was classics, Greek and Latin. But also I love this book that he wrote called The Gay Science. The Joyful Science is sometimes translated. It's it's La Ciencia. Well, I know the Italian name. It's all translated as the Gay Science or the Joyful Science or the Joyful Wisdom. And his early books I really like a lot, because later in life he got a little bit grandiose and very kind of arrogant, but his early books are absolutely brilliant. So The Gay Science and also Human All Too Human is a beautiful, beautiful book.
Human alter, the alter human. Yeah.
No, Human All Too Human. No sé
Human.
cómo se traduce eso.
I don't know, but I need you to. I'm gonna ask you a favor. You need to save this live because we were not able to go on my live, so you are the one who needs to save it. I'm gonna
How
show
do I
you.
do that?
I'm gonna show you now before you're leaving.
Okay. I can't. Yeah.
He advises 3 big tips. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I lost you for a second there. Go ahead.
Can you give us 3 tips, advices from you, Robert Greene, to the young generation? Like you, what 3 important things that the young generation should know?
All right. Well, first of all, it's young people who actually create culture, who actually change the world, because it's young people who are dissatisfied. They don't want the world of their parents. They don't want the world of the boomers or Generation X. So I want young people to understand that feeling angry or feeling unhappy with the way the world is now is a very positive thing. You should not be ashamed of that. You should not be embarrassed. You should not have your parents scold you for that or people tell you that's wrong. Actually, anger is a very good emotion. I use it a lot to write my books as long as it's channeled. So the first thing is to understand that you are right to be angry. You are right to feel disappointed in the leaders of this country, and you are right to feel that we need to change something. So that's the first lesson. The other lesson, it's extremely important, more personal and for your career, is that you are a unique person. I mean, you out there, whoever you are. You were born, this is, I talked about the sublime and weird things in the world that we don't understand. Well, here's a weird thing. Your DNA that you have right now is a combination of like 80 billion different possible combinations of different chromosomes, etc. There's never going to be anyone with exactly your DNA ever in the history of the universe, nor was there anybody in the past. And there's only one Diana who's had all of these experiences with her parents and her family. So you are unique. You were born as someone completely different from others. And so you're in your 20s, you're looking at your career. You tend to be, when you're young, you tend to be too interested in what other people are doing, and you tend to follow what other people are doing. And your power in life is to actually embrace what makes you different, embrace your own weirdness, embrace what makes you strange, embrace what makes you unique and different, and to find a career and a way of expressing that. So don't be afraid of 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 what makes you different from other people. And that sort of segues into the third thing, which is you are the people that are going to create this new world that we're about to enter. So I'm talking a lot about it in my next book, in the Sublime book, but you need to create a world that reflects the needs of your generation, right? And so, wow, somebody wrote, Robert, you are the devil. Um,
I don't see
I'm not,
that. I don't see.
it went by really quickly. Um, anyway, so, you have a tremendous responsibility, right? Um, you need, we're depending on you. And so, I write in my last book, I talk about generations, chapter 17, the generation phenomenon, and how that tends to go in a pattern throughout history, a pattern of four, where there's like a revolutionary generation that creates a totally new world. And then there's the second generation that tries to kind of keep what the revolutionary generation did and sort of put it together and make it more logical and ordered. Then there's the third generation that kind of reacts against that, becomes all conservative. And there's the fourth generation that's very chaotic and very confused and very upset and doesn't know what's going on in the world. The Generation Z is a generation that's going to be the revolutionary generation. Millennials are that kind of chaotic generation where things, we don't know what is going on in the world. Things are changing. So I want young people to embrace the changes. I want them to think that changing this world, revolutionizing it, making it more of their world is exactly what they need to do, is their role in life. I mean, I don't know if I've given you three things. I've given you sort of two and a half. I'm sorry, but you know, I
It's
did my best.
but they're very white. Like it's,
Yeah.
le preguntamos a Robert acerca de que nos dé unos consejos, que nos dé algo de luz para las generaciones nuevas de ahora que son las que llevan el rumbo de nuestra vida. Y la primera que dice rápidamente, porque te tienes que ir, es que la rabia. Ok, esos sentimientos de rabia que sienten las nuevas generaciones con el gobierno, con tu familia, que no las reprimas, al contrario, que las uses, que las canalices para que esa rabia, ese inconformismo, que cuando las cosas no son justas, no deberían ser así, no entiendo por qué son así. Ese sentimiento es positivo, porque tú lo puedes utilizar para un cambio, eso transforma. Entonces, ese es el sentimiento que no tienes que reprimir, sino transformar, usarlo para una transformación de tu generación, la gente joven. El segundo tip que nos dio Robert es, eres único, nuestros cromosomas, toda nuestra genética es completamente único. ¿Eso qué quiere decir? Que como tú no va a haber otra persona, tienes que amar eso y utilizarlo, porque tienes que hacer todo lo que eres raro, todo lo que tú, porque soy así, porque no entiendo esto, todas tus cosas más extrañas, esas son las cosas que te hacen únicas y que tal vez esos sean los que te dan el impulso para descubrir tus talentos y tu propósito en esta vida. Entonces observa esas cosas que no son negativas, lo que te hace diferente, porque ahí puede estar el secreto de tus cualidades más fuertes. Y el tercero es, lo entendí muy bien. I didn't understand to everyone because it's well connected with the other two. So the third one will be like, you have the power, tú tienes el poder de transformar lo que viene ahorita, porque está en la generación de ahora. Ustedes son los que van a transformar lo que va a venir en lo próximo. Entonces toma esa responsabilidad de tu vida, de ser tú quien eres, y transforma con las emociones que tengas, las emociones humanas, y con lo que hay. No tengas miedo al cambio. Sí, hay cosas que tienen que cambiar y están en tu poder y en tus manos de no callarte. Tú no tienes que callarte, sino decir, hay cosas que tienen que cambiar y es el cambio de la evolución y es la generación. Y tienes que adoptar el rol de tu generación. Transformadores, a seguir creciendo. Robert, thank you from my heart. You're being so generous with your time.
Thank you. My pleasure. I'm sorry we had these issues in the beginning.
I mean, but, but we made it. Then that makes me happy.
Okay, that's good. I'm happy too.
Everybody who was watching you, we really enjoy it. This is beautiful.
Well, we can do it again.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna be fast.
Part two.
Now we're gonna go away, but when you end your shot, you're gonna see a little arrow. It says end. You're gonna close it. And on top of the left screen, you're gonna see a little arrow. When you press it in the left corner top, there's gonna save, and then you put share. Well, first they are end. First we end.
So in the upper right corner there's end. I press that.
We're gonna put the X. Huh? We go with the right corner. So we close in the shot.
I press end.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I press right in the X corner, the right top. Then you're gonna see all black, and the Instagram is gonna have a little arrow on the other side, left. And then
but wait, I'm sorry, Danna. There's an X above you, and there's an end above me. So which am I pressing?
Yours.
It says end.
Yeah, but not yet.
Okay.
First then black screen, and then you wait, quiet, and then on top of the left top is gonna be a little arrow.
Yeah.
You click on that. So that means that you are saving this live on your iPhone.
Okay.
And then they save it in the middle of the screen. You see share.
Okay. The only thing I want to get clear is the first thing I do is I press end. No?
Yeah, you're going away. The first end, one corner. Are you sure you're gonna end? Yes, but before you finish it, you need to see the arrow in the left corner.
Okay.
And then share.
Hopefully I do it. Hopefully I'm smart enough. I'm sorry.
No rush, no rush.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
just pay attention.
Okay, pues yo espero.
Okay.
Okay.
Robert,
¿Lo
thank
hago ahora? ¿Lo hago? No?
you. You want to stay? I stay longer.
Okay. No, I have to start working on my next book. Lo haremos otra vez, ¿verdad?
Thank you.
Sí.
Of course. And you are close. You can work out. What is your workout doing? What are you at home?
Well, I have a special bicycle that I use because I had my stroke. So I have a recumbent bike and I go up into Griffith Park, which I did today. I go all through Griffith Park. And then the other exercise I do at home with weights and TheraBands to build my arms up because the stroke left the left side of my body very weak. So, and normally before the coronavirus, I went to my gym, the Los Angeles Athletic Club, and I did swim therapy because I used to be a big swimmer.
Swimming is amazing. But do you have a trainer, of course? Or you do it by yourself?
Where, for what?
You're training, when you do everything, you have somebody that trains with you, or you do it by
Well,
yourself?
not the bicycle, I just on my own. The swimming, I had a trainer, yeah, even though I've swam my whole life. But I need to retrain my body. But for the work at home, I'm just doing it myself. Why, you can be my trainer?
Yeah, of course. We are close. Love to. I would love to.
Okay. All right.
I go to the Griffith. I run.
Oh, you run?
Yeah, I run.
Where do you run? Like where the Hollywood sign is, where the observatory is?
Hike. I go straight. I have like two hikes, different hikes. One is the Beachwood, straight to the Hollywood sign, and sometimes I go to the Griffith Park. And most of the times, I'm doing the stairs, beautiful stairs, close to home. I found a secret spot.
Yeah. There's some stairs in Los Feliz.
Yeah. So I do that.
But I know some parts in Griffith Park that you will love. That there'll be no people and no cars, and it's incredible hills for aerobic exercise. Where I used to ride my bike, I can show you where that is. It's the most beautiful part of Griffith Park.
Awesome. We're gonna work out.
Okay.
We are neighbors.
Okay. Yes, we are. Very exciting.
All right, Robert. Thank you. Looking forward to our meeting.
Me too.
Thank you.
Me too. We'll message you. So I'm going to hit end.
Yeah. You got it. Go.